Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, my friends. This is Ryan here, and today you know that we've talked on and off here about various things, various video game things, obviously. I'll tell you right now, I've been basically like no-lifing Elden Ring since it came out, and yeah, I definitely don't have a problem. I need help, is what I'm trying to say. I need help, seriously. Send help to me. Now, in all seriousness, we're not here for that. We are here to talk about another RPG series, one that I am a big fan of. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it, but I'm a big fan of it. Another open world RPG series, and that's The Witcher, or at least The Witcher 4, or a new Witcher game, has been announced. Now, last time we talked about The Witcher here, we were talking about The Witcher 3 and its upcoming next-gen upgrade, and what we could expect from it, or what might be in it. Now that Cyberpunk's next-gen patch is out there in the wild for us to consume and just judge and make videos on and play, we are expecting that announcement of The Witcher 3's upgrade to come soon too. But then recently, a couple days ago, we got this notification that there is a new Witcher game in development. So we're going to talk about that today. And I should say before we begin in full, by the way, if you like this video or not, and you like hearing about old and upcoming games, or if you just like looking at my old mug, which I can't imagine that's the reason you're here, feel free to subscribe. And if not, the videos are free, so don't yell at me. Now, Projekt Red has taken to Twitter and posted on their website in what is seemingly some kind of like newsletter to say a new Witcher game is in development. We are happy to announce the next installment in the Witcher series of video games is currently in development, kicking off a new saga for the franchise. And you can see the medallion here, which is notably different from the Wolf medallion, obviously because it represents a different Witcher school, as it's not a Witcher school that is featured in the books or the games, as we'll talk about in a little bit. This implies, rather unsurprisingly, that we're going to be playing as a different character in The Witcher 4 or whatever it's called, which is not immediately surprising if you're familiar at all with the Witcher games and at least how The Witcher 3 ended. It makes sense that that would be as much of an end for Geralt as it could be. It could be cool to see our boy return in a cameo-like capacity, but at least for the health of a series, or of the series, a new protagonist is probably for the best, and I think would probably provide an avenue for new people to jump in if they weren't a big fan of the other Witcher games. Now, probably for me, the most interesting piece of this news is that the next Witcher game they in fact announced will be built on Unreal Engine 5, and they're ditching the REDEngine, which is CD Projekt Red's proprietary engine. Now, in some way, I am a little shocked by this, considering this is CD Projekt Red's proprietary engine, as I just said, but it could also be a smart move for them considering the problems they have with Cyberpunk overall in development, and it might be worth working with another engine that could potentially be a bit more friendly, or at least in partnership. I don't know. What do you think, Witcher Daddies? Can I call you Witcher Daddies? Now here's what CD Projekt Red said about the new engine. This is an exciting moment as we're moving from REDEngine to Unreal Engine 5, beginning a multi-year strategic partnership with Epic Games. It covers not only licensing, but technical development of Unreal Engine 5, as well as potential future versions of Unreal Engine, where relevant. We'll closely collaborate with Epic Games developers, with the primary goal being to help tailor the engine for open world experiences. At this point, no further details regarding the game, such as a development timeframe or release date, are available to share. REDEngine, the technology which powers Cyberpunk 2077, is still being used for the development of the upcoming Cyberpunk expansion. Now, obviously, they're not going to be abandoning the REDEngine outright, or at least taking it in a back alley and putting it out of its misery, and that's sensible considering they do have Cyberpunk still, and I don't know why anyone would think that they would just switch engines, considering the game, just got its actual release in some ways, but they're working with this new engine, and it tells me that the Witcher game, or the next Witcher game, is years and years away. They have to build new assets and tools, so it's gonna be a while. Now, there's the same reason that if we look at the next Max Effect, we can imagine this is going to be a number of years away, considering the move is coming from one engine to another. They're moving from one engine to another, and that's just gonna take some time. I would also add that it seems that they're going to continue that open world format that established or was was established in The Witcher 3, continued on in Cyberpunk, and considering The Witcher 3 is often hailed as one of the greatest games of all time, a claim that I agree with, mind you, there is no reason to abandon what's worked or what was great about that game. The Witcher 3 had great content and exploration, and just on that alone, we are in for a treat if they can execute properly. I think one of the biggest complaints a lot of people have about The Witcher 3, and not necessarily that the story is bad, just that it's overly long. A lesson that they learned with Cyberpunk 2077, which has a story that you can complete in much less time. But of course, there's plenty of content there to put in just about as much hours as you would into a Witcher 3, but at least this time you can experience the story and put it down if you want to. It also seems like they're going to be working closely with Epic on the tech here for a little while at least. So I would wager that even if we do see a sequel to Cyberpunk, at least someday, they're going to stick with Unreal Engine, or at least that's just my guess. Now look, I really don't know the difference between these engines as far as like, you know, which one's better or worse or comparison's sake. So I don't know how REDEngine is in comparison to other gameplay engines, because we know at least with Frostbite and EA, it was detrimental almost to Mass Effect and Dragon Age, hence the switching to Unreal Engine there, at least with Mass Effect. So maybe they see the tech involved with Unreal Engine and they think it can really push their games forward. In fact, it does actually sound that they had some issues with the development of their games on REDEngine, in as far as they had to try and push their games forward with adapting their engine and upgrading it as they went about making their new games and trying to push them forward. And they go into this briefly in the full press release. They go on to say that this partnership will alleviate some of that pressure from their team and save them time on developing their next games, since they can set a tech standard right at the start of development. As good a reason as any, I suppose. I will say also that they were very clear to say this partnership does not at all mean exclusivity of any kind. It's just a strategic partnership to share tech and work on the Unreal Engine. Of course, at least in regards to the engine, time will tell if that really is a time saver or if that's going to help them in development. Now, originally on this medallion front, there's this Witcher medallion in the poster that they showed, or the teaser image, and everyone believed that this was a cat medallion and it was some kind of redesign or retcon, or it was introducing the School of the Cat or a character from the Cat School of Witchers into the next Witcher game. Now, this was quickly dispelled by CD Projekt Red themselves, with CD Projekt Red global communication manager saying, okay, some mystery should not be so mysterious. I can confirm that the medallion is in fact shaped after the Lynx. Now, the School of the Lynx is not in any official canon or books or games just yet, and has really only been featured in fan-made content. As told in the Witcher fan and wiki, and by the way, I should say that there's going to be spoilers here for The Witcher 3. In case that's you, you might want to just skip this part. Anyway, you've been warned. Following Vesemir's heartbreaking death at the end of The Witcher 3, the remaining members of the School of the Wolf went their separate ways, with Eskel going east, possibly to join up with the Manticore School, and Lambert traveling south with his lover, the sorceress Kira Metz. At some point in 1273, Kira and Lambert converged with veteran members of the nomadic cat school and planned to join forces to recover the cat's Din Marv caravan from Nilfgaardian soldiers. Their plan is successful, and with the caravan recovered, Lambert is made leader along with the witcheress Dragonfly. Hence, the School of the Cat is radically reformed into the School of the Lynx. Kira, whom players can also romance in The Witcher 3, became the school mage and helped with the recovery of the Witcher mutagens, and subsequently found a cure for the deadly Catriona plague within her research. So basically, there's a lot of potential there for CD Projekt Red to play off of, or even if they wanted to establish their own lore and canon for it. Now, perhaps they jump us far into the future, past the establishment of the School of the Lynx, so there's a bit of a history there for them, and how they're viewed by the other Witchers or the Witcher schools, should any of them still exist. I know a lot of people want to see Ciri, and maybe me included, I'm not sure yet. They want to see Ciri be the protagonist of the new games, but that really does depend on the direction here. If they're going to create a brand new character or pull from source material, CD Projekt Red seems to have creative freedom, at least I think so, to take whatever direction they want with the universe. So just having the Witcher IP alone allows them to really do kind of whatever they want. I mean, they almost lost that IP in a sense, but they got it, so they're probably going to use it to whatever ends that they find good or feasible. But I do find this idea of announcing games, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm just going to say this, that to announce games this early is a little peculiar because they have no development time frame to share, or a release date, or even details to tease, or even images to show. So I think this has to be largely used as maybe a recruitment tool, maybe just to garner excitement, because I really don't know what other reason you have to share this information with us this early. Now, again, clearly I'm the wrong one here, because if you look at the engagement just on the Twitter, or the tweet rather, or on this announcement, it's pretty astronomical and people are talking about it. They're excited and it outweighs any trepidation that I have about it. But I would say this, even their PR manager came out and said something about, you know, what everyone's been talking about ever since they announced what's been going on with their next game or the next Witcher game. What we have not announced today, a game called The Witcher 4, a game exclusive to one storefront. It was our initial confirmation of a new saga in the Witcher franchise. Right now, we are not discussing any specifics in terms of story, characters, mechanics, or plot, or details, or plot details, I should say. So I'm gonna be that guy here and say, so don't say anything until you're ready to share details or show us something. Now, I'm happy another game is coming because the last one was pretty great, but if I learned like a year from now this same information, or 6 months from now that the game was in development, I don't think it would have made a substantial difference in my excitement level unless they had something to show for it. But I recognize there's other things at play behind the scenes that we probably aren't seeing. Maybe they know something that I don't. They probably do, because I'm a dumbass, so don't even listen to me if you think I'm wrong. So I mean, again, I'm clearly in the minority here, so you might as well just disregard me entirely in regards to at least the excitement around their announcement. I mean, look, I'm not interested. More so I saw this and was like, cool. I don't know. I'm definitely being a stick in the mud, aren't I? You can tell me, but, or actually don't tell me, because you're probably going to be mean about it. And I don't like when you're mean. Otherwise, that's pretty much all the information we have to go on, or at least go over in this video. A new Witcher game is in development. It will be on Unreal Engine 5. And that's honestly the most interesting part about all of this for me. But otherwise, we'll see it when they have stuff to show, and that's pretty much all I can really tell you about it. That we'll talk about it when there's stuff to talk about. It's cool news, I guess, but it's whatever. No exclusivity to any platform or storefront, and it will likely be a while before we even see it. Now, regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video at least a little bit. I hope you found it informative, or at least liked listening to me talk about something you might be interested in, or if you didn't, then thanks for coming this far, I guess, only to tell me that you were disappointed. Now, of course, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think below, and thanks again for watching. I will talk to you all soon, and remember that I love you all. At least maybe, I really...